This is the Global Podcast Network, where executives and professionals connect, share, and inspire. Stay tuned for the conversations that drive success.
Hey, welcome back, everyone. Going to ask you a question. Might seem a little facetious or an odd question that you would need to answer, but are you conscious at this moment? Now, of course, the answer is going to be, well, yes, I heard what you said. I'm here, I'm aware, but you're really not. You're really not. Your subconscious is pretty much running the show, whether you're aware of it or not. And we're going to talk about that and so much more today in terms of somebody who coaches to help you be more conscious of life. And if you're not, well, what's going on there? You're probably a bit stuck. You're maybe having some challenges with life, relationships, moving life forward, even getting the things you deserve. She is an amazing coach, and love the title of her practice. It is called Conscious Life Coach. She is Mindy Tueller. She's back with us. How are you doing today?
I'm doing so well. How are you?
Real good. It's good to have you back here. And you coach a little bit differently. You know, we look at positive intelligence. I understand from last conversations, it's kind of a baseline for what you do. But I'd love to dig into that today. You know, looking at that versus other coaches, what makes you different? Can we dig into that?
Oh, I love that. Yeah. Well, I do think that I bring a slightly different approach to my coaching, and I've had some really interesting experience in my background that helps to inform that. So, for many years, I helped manage a program for children with special healthcare needs and their families. And it was done in a way that really does come out of primary care health in the US, and that is to consider that your primary care team is kind of like a home for you. They call it the medical home. And the idea is that while they may not have all the answers at their fingertips for all of your health needs, they will put you in touch with who does, and they want to know everything about you. They want to be that home for you, not physical, but more emotional, and all those other things. And they're the hub. The other part of that that's so important is that they include the patient as a partner in all the decision making. The patient is the expert on themselves. In the pediatric world, it's a little bit maybe more the parents along with the patient, but really that's the thing that I want to bring to coaching, is to recognize that it's a partnership, and that the client is the expert, and they really do have all the answers inside of them, but that I'm there to help support. There to help ask the questions that can elicit them seeing into themselves, and to recognize that if I don't have the thing that can help them at that moment, I will put them in touch with it. We'll do it together. We'll reach outside and find other parts of the team, and that's the whole thing. We're going to look at that whole person, all of them.
I think that's beautiful the way you put that, and I completely agree with you. It took a little bit of a journey to figure that out, that we have all the answers inside of us. Everything you need to know, everything. You're struggling with a decision, I don't know, choice A, choice B, which one do I pick? I just can't decide. You really do. The challenge or the lesson here is to figure out how to pick the right choice. And I believe that comes with your guidance. Would you say that you're the key to understanding this? You're also the mirror that gets put up in front of us so we can see who we really are and what we're really doing. It's not like you have some magic brew, I've got the answer for you and here it is. This is the magic ticket. This is going to change your life. No, you're just helping us figure us out. Would that make sense?
Yeah, I definitely agree. And I have one other piece of life-changing information, and that is that there's no wrong decision. So any decision we make can be something that helps us learn and grow. So we shouldn't be afraid of jumping in. It's okay. Whatever happens, it's okay.
Well, that said, do you believe that ultimately we're here to create, learn, and teach. Is that why we're here?
Ooh, if we can get to that teaching part, that would be pretty cool. The creative part for sure, and the grow, 100%. I I listen to an app almost every day. It's free, and I recommend it to everyone. It's called Insight Timer, and it has so much to offer. I listen to a lot of the free, pretty short teachings, meditations, perhaps you might call them. And there's one that I've listened to a number of times that talks about what that teacher's approach is to the meaning of life. And she says that she's done so much studying and learning from all the greats. And for her, it comes down to joy and growth.
Mm,
And I don't disagree. I do know that many of us aren't having a lot of joy. And that's what I want to help people get to for sure.
so that was we're here to learn, right? What I
Mm-hmm.
learned in the last couple of weeks that joy, if you look at it energetically, is the highest vibration.
Mm-hmm.
I always thought it was love. Mm. And then now that you put it into perspective and put the pieces together, once you have joy, then you can have love. Doesn't work the other way around. But I didn't realize it that way. That is, that's that's the top of the mountain, what we're trying to achieve. But that being said, to your point, yeah, can anybody? Yeah, let's ask 100 people. Are you feeling joy at this moment? Sure, like really joy, or have you felt it like today or this week? We both know what the answer would be. Very
Mm-hmm.
few would say yes.
Very few. Yeah, and I'd love to change that. I have been really fortunate in my own life to have gone from a life of being on autopilot, not being conscious,
Mm.
not being awake, to now being grateful for every little thing and seeing that joy on a regular basis. I'm more in a state of joy than I'm not. And it's doable. And I'd like to share that with everyone.
Well, let's get into that right now, if we may. Um, you said grateful. Is joy directly correlated to gratitude?
I sure think so. I sure think so. And, one of the things that has become so apparent to me in this last few years as I've gone through my own personal experiences that we often get stuck in an idea of book learning, academic type of knowledge, all the stuff that's kind of up in our left brains as the key to enlightenment, as the key to understanding. And I think that might not be true. I think that sometimes that inhibits us from being able to be super present and see the gifts that are all around us in the little things, in the smile that we got from the person who gave us our coffee this morning, in the flower that just burst open as we were walking to our car in the parking lot, uh, the change in the seasons that's beginning, and we're starting to feel cooler evenings and see leaves turn where I live. That's what makes life amazing. And we rush through life, hurry, hurry. We want the accolades, we want the letters behind our name, we want the money in our bank account. Those things really aren't what the meaning of life is all about.
Mm. What is the meaning of life?
I think when we can let go of all of the negative noise, be so present that we can truly feel viscerally that everything is exactly as it's supposed to be right now. We've made it. We've made it.
Do you feel that it's in front of us? It's at our fingertips. It's right here, except we're missing it because we're so amassed in life, devices, distractions, all of it. If you strip that stuff away, do you feel that many of us would see it? It's right there in front of us. Maybe you have to train yourself a little bit. Maybe you have to look a little closer, but it's all right there. But it's about the distraction that needs to be quieted or pushed away.
Yeah, and here's an interesting thing too, and positive intelligence helps with all of that.
Hmm.
But I think so much of that negative thought pattern in our head, the negative self-talk, is um, that the feeling we're having with the patterns that we're doing, with the behavior, with the other thoughts, is wrong. So it's the feeling about the feeling that we're getting caught up in. If let's go ahead and just say we have a vice. Um, let's take mine with coffee. I drink way too much. And if I tell myself, you drink way too much coffee, then that's a judge voice. That's a negative voice. And I'm missing that when I drink a cup of coffee, I feel the warmth of that cup in my hands.
Mm-hmm.
I smell that smell. I taste that wonderful flavor and I feel the temperature and that liquid going down my throat. All of that, when I'm doing all of that, I am present. And if I can tell myself it's okay that I am present right here for this fifth cup of coffee today, then so much changes. And what that allows me to do is be accepting of who I am with my flaws, because we're all imperfect, every one
Mm-hmm.
of us. And that gives me the opening to maybe make the choice to not have a sixth cup of coffee today. And maybe tomorrow I'll only have four because I've accepted myself and I love myself with all my imperfections. And I can enjoy this moment right now. It's that feeling of I'm doing it wrong instead of just allowing for the fact that we're going to do it wrong. It's okay. And then we can enjoy and we can live this life.
I think a lot of things come out of it too when you judge yourself. Then, when it's time for that sixth cup of coffee, and again, we all know the answer. We're thinking, maybe I shouldn't, maybe I should. But then, as a part of you says, I got judged. I deserve that cup of coffee. I'm going to have it anyway. And even though part of you is saying, "Hey, you really don't need more caffeine today," but no, I deserve it. I just got judged by myself. And I'm not right there. I'm right there with you. I've cut back. I don't drink it for caffeine. I get an extra large right over here. And I got to tell you, Mindy, just what you said. Every sip I appreciate. And for me, I don't do a lot enough for me. And if time goes on where I haven't done something for me, and that's the journey of self care, I actually feel like I'm cheating myself. I need to do something for you for a change. That's my cup of coffee. That's my $3.25 give back to me. Pick it up every morning. Last me the whole day because it's just a little sip of joy every once in a while. And I savor each sip. I know it sounds ridiculous, but it's like I appreciate it. I appreciate it. And I'll add it up. All right, so 325 times, five in a week or whatever. But it's like, it's worth it. But taking that moment, I guess it's coming back to truly being conscious and living in the present. Is that kind of the secret? The base, the foundational secret.
Yeah. And if we're judging ourselves, then we're not present. We're often in the past, beating ourselves up for something we didn't do well a while ago, or we're in the future worrying about something that we usually can't control. And so being present is equal to loving ourselves. It's saying, I'm not afraid, I'm not worried, I'm okay, everything's okay.
Hmm. The judgment ruins everything, doesn't it? I mean, think about it. When you were a kid, and let's say, your mother said to you, You're not going to wear that out of the house, are you? Could be the best outfit shirt ever. Now you just got judged. And what did that feel like? Go back, think. It'll come to you right away. And now think of it when you're judging yourself over that sixth cup of coffee. It's the same kind of thing. It's almost as if you don't want to listen. You shut it all out, and now you're not living in the present because now you push things away. Just not the best way to live. And we do it all the time. We judge ourselves. We judge others, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And so I think, getting to a place where we can heal from some of those things that we've carried with us probably for the bulk of our lives. And we've said those things to ourselves in one way or another, to the point where it's hard to unhear them. It's hard, but if we can remember how it felt to be that 3 year old or that 4 year old before some of these things really got lodged in us, that's who we really are. That's who we
Mm.
really are. That ebullient, joyful, carefree, curious, excited kid. And we can get back to all of that, and let go of some of these negative patterns that are the things getting in our own way, for us to live our lives to the very fullest.
Isn't it isn't it interesting to think of that? And if you can't remember that 3-year-old, then look at other kids and look at how they pilot. They're happy, they're joyful, they they're curious, they have resilience. Nothing's stopping them. It's it's the way we were intended to be. Well, isn't it? That's the way it should be.
Yeah, and I have an observation that I'd love to share. So
Sure.
I think that many times as women, we feel like we have so much we have to take care of. We're often, in the workforce these days, as well as doing so much around the home and for family and so on and so forth. And I know for me, a lot of the women I've talked with or worked with, we kind of feel like we're the grown-ups oftentimes. Well, I like to take a look at what that might mean on the other side, and what that means is if we see the childlike, youthful, playful attitude that many men have, particularly with their kids. What a gift! What a wonderful thing! You're closer to the way we're supposed to be. That's so awesome to have that kid right there inside you that you can pull out and be at any time. That's a wonderful thing. And I'd love to encourage women to find their child more and more often.
So you shared that. I'm going to throw one to you real quick, and that was a wake up for me about that feeling. I had a more chill weekends a couple of months back, and again, I'm saying that because most time we're all running all over the place and we're not observing. So I was in a more relaxed state. Monday morning, driving here at the light right across the street, just waiting for the light, and I steer at I was staring at my steering wheel. I don't know why. I was just looking down at the emblem. And I'm thinking to myself, look at the craftsmanship. Look at how they did that. Man, that's really cool. And for 4 seconds, I felt like a kid. It was the weirdest feeling ever. I really got transported back to that feeling of being a kid, that curious, that little look at that. Yeah, I've never even looked at that emblem on the steering wheel. I wonder how they did that. That's really super cool. And it was my wake up of you need to go back to that. You need to be curious. You need to enjoy the little things, the wonder, and all of that. Because we're going 120 miles an hour in our minds, that we're missing those little moments, I guess, of joy.
What a great story. Um, what you were doing, Steve, is in that few couple of seconds there, as you were really looking at the detail of that emblem, is you were doing a PQ rep. You were doing a visual PQ rep, which is where you were out of your head and fully in your senses. And you were taking in this information like we do when we're kids without anything else interfering with it, saying, that can't be all that great, or, there's a problem with it, because none of that was present. You were just taking in what was.
Mm.
And I would love to know, do you remember how it made you feel in your body?
Relaxed, maybe joy, maybe happy, innocent, like there was nothing else wrong or around. It was just being there, focusing on it. I still remember, and this is, quite a few months ago, I still remember sitting at the light and looking at it. It's like, what just happened? That was so cool. Wow.
Wow, that is really neat. I think that so many things that we chase in our society, as adults, perhaps, and maybe even younger, is is to get that feeling.
Mm.
So it might be drugs or food or something else, but we are pursuing getting to feel better when we really want to feel amazing. And it's that feeling that we want to have.
I just had another memory. This is about a year ago. And it was some kind of session with somebody. I'm not even sure what we were doing, to be honest. But I was asked to stare at an object, and it was one of those like small squishy balls, and they come in all different colors, go on the end of a pencil, that kind of thing. Staring at that, just focused on that. And I had these memories, and maybe because this was a Saturday, and I always did this as a Saturday, on a Saturday when I was in my low to mid 20s, I would go to a high school track and I would just jog. And I would also listen to music. And it was kind of like my escape, but it was also exercise. And I felt like I was back there. So much, in fact, I was playing the music in my mind, and there was moments where I'd be jogging, then I'd run backwards. Woo, this is great! Having a great time listening to music. It was a happy time in my life. I guess I was a kid. We're still a kid at 20. Um, and it was my reminder to go back to doing those things that you did as a kid that made you happy, I guess, brought you joy. But what was I doing in that other example? Staring at the steering wheel. What was I doing here? Staring at some squishy ball thing. It worked for me. It took after a few moments, it transported me back in a weird kind of way. Um, but it was real, and I felt it, and I felt that feeling of what it was like back then. So, and no, I wasn't under the influence of anything. So maybe it can be as simple as staring at something that can take you, transport you somewhere in your mind, and bring you back to that moment of joy.
So a couple things. And first, I mean, I just want to acknowledge that I think so much of what you have done, Steve, in your own journey has allowed you to have that uh, really cool flexibility in your brain to be able to look at something for just a few seconds and move into that other place of awareness. We get stuck in this 3D realm, and there's so many more realms. There's
Mm.
so many more
Oh
dimensions.
my
There's so
gosh.
much more.
And you know what I can do? I can stare at something called meditation. I don't know what it is. But Mindy, I was at the gym last week and was staring at a bolt on a machine. And then I closed my eyes and opened them and continued with the exercise I was doing. I felt like I was above myself looking down and I was just doing extensions. It was almost surreal. And I felt this surge of energy. Like I didn't even know I was doing it. Because a lot of times you get in your head, like, I don't know if I could do another rep. I don't know if I could, I don't know if this is, I was like Superman. Like I wasn't even thinking. It was almost like being transported just by staring at something. So maybe that's a secret for me. I don't know. Maybe it'll work for others, but kind of magical. But I didn't realize that this is all under the guise of a PQ rep. Interesting.
Well, you're
Hmm.
doing well, very advanced PQ reps. The thing is, we are so much more powerful than we realize, and I think it really does come back to being present and then being able to step into all this other stuff that's just waiting for us if we can let go of
Yeah.
the noise, the judgment, if we can love ourselves. And I think I can help people to get there. I do.
You helped me today have these realizations, like just some of these wake ups. There's so much out there, and
Mhm.
that's why we're talking about it today. What's your website, Mindy?
It is consciouslife.coach.
Simple. Go on the website, contact you, start a
Mhm.
conversation, change your life. Really, it's be a kid again. Why
Yes,
not?
yes.
Thank you, thank you for all the insight today. I really, really appreciate it.
My pleasure.
Thanks.
This is the Global Podcast Network, where executives and professionals connect, share, and inspire. Stay tuned for the conversations that drive success.